Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omniviewer, and welcome to Genre Benders, Obscurities, and Flawed Gems, where we look at the best stuff you've never heard of. It's Christmas time, everyone! I've got my Christmas decorations, my Christmas fedora, some Christmas music, and even my Christmas underwear. Unfortunately, the one thing I don't have is the Christmas special that I really wanted to share with you guys. The thing is impossible to find on DVD, I'm afraid, so I'm sorry, but I guess there really won't be a review. So all I can say is Merry...
Not so fast there. Ugh. Rough landing there. Now what's this I hear about there being no review?
Oh, Rodney, hi, good to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rodney the reindeer. He's stopped by the house pretty much every Christmas for as long as I can remember. You're a little early this year, though, aren't you?
Well, I overheard you lamenting your lack of a Christmas special, and I can't just sit here playing with my hooves and doing nothing. Don't you know that this is a season for miracles? Check behind you.
Behind me? Well, I'll be darned. There is an official DVD. Huh. Thanks a lot, Rod. I owe you one.
Well, in that case, can I crash on your couch for the season? There was a mix-up in schedules, words was said, and, well, long story short, there's no room at the inn.
Kind of fitting if you think about it. Sure, Rod, you don't even have to ask. You're always welcome here, anytime, any season. Help yourself to the fridge. There's some magic corn somewhere in the back.
Thanks.
And be careful. There's been some weird stuff going on in the house recently.
Will do.
Well, I guess things will go according to plan after all. Let's take a look at a long-forgotten Christmas special. Opus and Bill in A Wish for Wings That Work. Opus the penguin has a problem. He wants to fly more than anything else in the world, but as stated, he's a penguin, and his wings simply aren't designed to get him off the ground. Other birds mock him mercilessly, and his various attempts to become aerodynamic have ended in disaster thanks to poor planning and interference from well-meaning Bill the cat. So it is that Opus seeks help from the last person on Earth who can possibly help him. He writes a letter to Santa Claus asking for wings that work, not knowing what the upcoming Silent Night has in store for him. A Wish for Wings That Work is based on a book of the same name written and illustrated by Burke Breathed, one of the strangest names in all of comics. The characters originated in his 80s comic strip Bloom County, and if you're not familiar with this strip, you should be. Sure, some of the references are a bit dated these days, but the characters are likable, the insights are fascinating, and the comedy is pure gold. Even though Bloom County had a huge ensemble cast, it was always Opus and Bill who were the standouts, so giving them their own story just made sense. And if you ask me, we couldn't have asked for a better one. They are what make this special. Opus is an instantly relatable character. Haven't we all been in his position before? Somebody else has something you want and that society says you should have, but something is preventing you from having it. Perhaps you feel left out because you're the only person you know who doesn't have the latest smartphone. Perhaps you're the least athletic kid in school and make a fool of yourself in PE. Perhaps you don't fit the magazine's definition of what is considered beauty. Whatever the case, we've all been Opus at some point, finding ourselves falling short of the standard through no fault of our own, wishing we could change that aspect of ourselves, and flipping out at the people around us who, as far as we're concerned, just don't get it. Opus is the most human penguin ever, and through him a very human message is conveyed. Don't let society dictate what you should be, because then you'll lose sight of the things that make you who you are. But that's getting into spoiler territory, so I'm going to stop there and let you see how things play out for yourself. And then there's Bill the Cat. In order to understand Bill the Cat, you need to understand his origins. Bill was introduced to Bloom County as a parody of Jim Davis's Garfield around the same time the Tubby Tabby was becoming more of a commercial product than a proper artistic property. Bill is the anti-Garfield, so thoroughly grotesque and disgusting that he could never be considered marketable, despite attempts by characters in universe to the contrary. It's somewhat ironic, then, that Bill is right beside Opus in terms of popularity and has a whole bunch of merchandise based on him. Bill is what elevates A Wish for Wings That Work into the bizarre category. First of all, look at the way he moves. It's like somebody cut him up and put him back together wrong, and every sound he makes speaks to a respiratory system full of kinks and knots and extra passages that lead nowhere. Yet, in spite of how gross he is, it's impossible to hate Bill. All he wants is to be Opus's buddy and help him out, and he's so sincere about it that we can't help but love him, or feel heartbroken when Opus finally loses his temper in Bill's direction. Trust me, if you're not won over by him at the end, you're not paying attention. The special is also a veritable who's who list of voice talent. Joe Alaskey, Tress McNeil, and Frank Welker all play major roles.
Did you know you have a large rutabaga on your nose?
This is my nose.
A Yuletide typical, pure and simple. Come with us. No time.
Speaking of feelings, darned if I don't feel like a Boeing 747.
Turbulence.
Robin Williams, credited here as Sooty Nim, lends his voice to a Kiwi with, issues.
Just be glad your wife didn't leave you for an albatross with great, big, long wings.
Most surprising of all is an uncredited Dustin Hoffman in a bit role that I'm not going to spoil here, but it comes straight out of left field and it is hilarious. Now, Breathed himself has expressed displeasure with the special, calling it absolute rubbish on a good day. I completely disagree with him, but I can see where he's coming from. It's always surreal for writers to see their work adapted by other people, and sometimes if it doesn't match up with the vision you have in your head, it can result in backlash. And I'll be perfectly fair. The special's not perfect. Sometimes the pacing is a bit off, and it could be argued that Opus and Bill needed a better resolution than what they got. But those are nitpicks, they hardly ruin it. I personally wonder if Breathed has softened his attitude since the debacle of Mars Needs Moms. You want to talk bad adaptations. I'm sure he would at least agree that of the two, this is the stronger one. While I'm at it, I'm going to recommend that you look up the book as well, because the artwork is extraordinary and it's the source material, so you should be reading it anyway. And that's pretty much all there is to say. If you can find a copy of either one, watch or read A Wish for Wings That Work. It's a nice change of pace from your average Christmas special, and it definitely needs more love. I guess that's all there is to it. So, Merry Christmas, and until such time as we meet again, this is the Omniviewer, signing off. You again. Rodney. All right, pal. I'm only telling you once. Put the reindeer down. Oh.
The weird stuff you were talking about?
Yeah, one of them. We're calling him the Distorter. Are you okay? Did he hurt you?
Oh no, I'm fine. He seemed pretty peeved though. Sort of like I was interrupting something.
Interesting.